In August of 2005, French live streamer Raphaël Graven, also known as JP, participated in a 12-day streaming marathon that ultimately led to his demise. Before collabing with degenerate streamers, Graven made a name for himself on TikTok, then transitioned into gaming. At one point, he became the 5th biggest live streamer in France. A year before this incident, Graven, along with a group of live streamers, were put under investigation for broadcasting what French authorities called a business of abuse. JP was frequently humiliated, degraded, and physically abused while streaming on Kick. Viewers would send in donations to see JP get bullied by his younger co-streamers. Sometimes he would be a willing participant in these challenges, other times he would be the victim of a crude prank. More often than not, he would be doused in liquid, sprayed with paint, and forced to drink chemical concoctions for views. In one instance, he was shoved into the trunk of a car, then taken on a bumpy road filled with potholes. It was obvious that JP hated the abuse on stream, but he couldn't escape from his abusers. A few days before his death, he had sent his mom a text message describing his grueling situation. "Hey mom, how are you? I'm sick of this game. It's gone way too far. I feel like I'm being held hostage by their awful concept. I'm exhausted. I want to leave, but the other guy won't let me. He's holding me hostage." During this 11-day live stream, which some people called a torture marathon, JP was subjected to sleep deprivation, physical humiliation and violence, along with toxic viewers who were sending donations to continue the abuse. It was later revealed that the group had made a staggering $42,000 in donations from the 12-day streaming marathon. After 300 hours of torture, JP was physically and emotionally destroyed from the abuse. Towards the end of the stream, things took a turn for the worst. He started to have a heart attack, but his co-streamers were oblivious to the situation. Once they realized something was wrong, they were slapping him around trying to wake him up. They realized he wasn't breathing and ended the stream abruptly. Once the story reached mainstream media, the entire internet was furious at the abuse Graven endured by his so-called friends. Several of Graven's former co-streamers posted heartfelt messages trying to deflect blame off themselves. Kick denied any responsibility for the death, and Graven's autopsy report claimed he died from a medical condition. That's like saying somebody got stabbed and they died from blood loss. Earlier this year, 2 streamers who were involved in his death were arrested for charges including assault, incitement to hatred, abuse of a vulnerable person, and recording and broadcasting violent images. People were saying he was being held hostage by his toxic friends and used as a puppet for chatters to abuse. Other people were saying he was a grown 46-year-old man willing to do anything for views. Jon McMurray was a Canadian hip-hop artist known for his wild music videos and larger-than-life persona. He was a career free skier, stunt performer, and independent filmmaker. Under the alias Jon James, he recorded music videos while skydiving, jumping off bridges, and doing stunts most rappers wouldn't attempt. In October of 2018, Jon was planning to perform a stunt for social media called wing walking. This involves standing on top of an airplane, then walking across its wings. Before going on the plane, he made an announcement on Instagram that is very disturbing to watch, knowing what happened afterwards.
Alright, here's the quick update. One of our planes is having a problem, so they need to fix it. There's something broken on it. So we got a couple hour delay. I just want to let you guys know so you're not like, I don't just go off the grid for a few hours and you're like, did he die? No, we're just delayed. So it's pretty much game time. This is crazy. I've been manifesting this for months, so the fact this is actually coming to fruition right now is a big day for me. So my life inspires my music, and my music inspires my life. And this is how I like to live. Other planes here. It's game time. Literally, we're about to take off. Brody shows up. He's like, did you guys turn the GoPros on? I'm like, no, did you? Thank God. Whew. Brody just saved the whole shoot. Anyways, GoPro's going on. It's game time, baby. We're flying.
Once the plane got close enough to the ground, Jon started walking on the wing of the plane. He was walking towards the end of the wing, which sent the plane into a downward spiral. Jon was clinging onto the wing but lost his grip. He didn't have enough time to pull his parachute and died on impact. Jon McMurray left behind a positive legacy and died doing what he loved. This next story is what could have happened to Nikocado Avocado if he didn't stop his mukbang videos. A Chinese influencer named, forgive me if I butcher this, Pan Xiaoting started making mukbang videos while working as a waitress. Once she gained a substantial following, she quit her job to focus on creating content. Her videos involved eating unholy amounts of food, averaging 20 pounds of food per session. Unsurprisingly, her weight skyrocketed and she began having massive health problems. Friends, family, and even her own fans urged her to focus on her health, but she was more focused on going viral. This unhealthy behavior was positively reinforced by her thousands of viewers that watched her mukbang live streams. She was destroying her body while at the same time living in fear that the CCP would arrest her for making mukbangs. As of 2021, China has officially banned mukbang videos because it promotes wasteful eating, endorses gluttonous behavior, and threatens national food security, whatever that means. The penalty for breaking this law is a fine that can go as high as 100,000 won. This is equivalent to $15,000 American. This didn't stop Pan from posting her videos, which ultimately landed her in the hospital. On one occasion, she was taken to the emergency room after her stomach was bleeding from excessive eating. She ignored this warning and not too long after went on a 10-hour mukbang livestream. She was eating unholy amounts of food ranging from fried chicken, seafood, and mountains of chocolate cake. Out of nowhere, she collapsed in front of the camera. Viewers were trying to contact authorities, but they didn't know where she lived. Pen Xiaoting died from a fatal gastrointestinal injury. Her autopsy report revealed the majority of the food in her stomach was undigested. 22 pounds of food was piling up in her stomach until it eventually ruptured, causing stomach acid and food to leak into her abdomen. Gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins for a reason. Don't overeat. Listen to your body when it tells you to stop. Earlier this year, Colombian influencer Angel Montoya was live streaming for his viewers when he had the bright idea of jumping into a flooded river. Since this was during a storm season, the water levels were higher and the river's currents were unpredictable. His audience wanted him to complete dangerous challenges for their entertainment, so he told them he was gonna jump into the river. His friend that was recording didn't bother stopping him because he was more focused on the live stream. Angel jumped into the river, which was a fatal mistake. He tried swimming back to shore, but it was no match against the river's powerful currents. His friend was making fun of him. Meanwhile, Angel was slowly being carried out farther downriver. He started to panic, but his screams were silenced by the river's unforgiving rapids. It took the search and party rescue 3 days to find Angel's body. Angel chose the worst possible time to attempt this challenge. This story serves as a lesson to any daredevil on Instagram who wants to go viral by doing stupid stuff like this. Just like Chinese free climber Wu Yongning, who dedicated his life to climbing large skyscrapers. This viral trend is a worldwide phenomenon that involves climbing cranes, skyscrapers, and abandoned urban structures. Adrenaline junkies post their stunts on social media hoping to go viral. The close calls, near-death experiences, and flirtation with death is what drives engagement on social media. The more dangerous the stunt, the more likely it will go viral. A terrible incentive that has resulted in the death of countless daredevils. In this particular case, Wu Yongning was participating in a skyscraper challenge hosted by an illegitimate source. Apparently, the winner of said contest would win 100,000 won if they climbed the highest rooftop in the competition. Wu was an experienced climber with countless stunts under his belt. On this particular day, he was nervous because the 62-story building he was going to climb wasn't very secure. He can be seen numerous times hanging from the edge trying to secure a firm grip. He wiped down the ledge and tried one more time. This time, he completed 2 pull-ups but didn't have enough strength to pull himself up. This was most likely due to the fatigue of climbing back and forth from the ledge. Unfortunately, he fell to his death and wasn't found until the next day when a window wiper found his body on the terrace below. Although going viral was a motivator, he was more determined to win the prize to take care of his elderly mother who was sick at the time. This next case has to be the dumbest death in human history. It was completely avoidable, and types of people like this should never own firearms. Pedro Ruiz III was planning to go viral by surviving a gunshot at point-blank range. Months leading up to this incident, Pedro was begging his girlfriend Mona Lisa to shoot him in the chest with a pistol, telling her that he would place a book in front of his chest to avoid penetration. He told her he had tested the book's durability, so there was nothing to worry about. Famous last words. Pedro was determined to film an epic video for his new YouTube channel. She reluctantly agreed and went on social media to announce their outrageous idea. Ruiz didn't want to get shot with a 22 or 9mm pistol. Instead, he selected the most powerful handgun in the world. The Desert Eagle pistol can penetrate solid steel and kill a full-grown elephant. In other words, this is the last pistol you want to be shot with at point-blank range.
If I die, I'll be ready for Jesus. He probably won't accept me into the pearly gates because how stupid this is, but I have confidence that my girlfriend will hit the book and not me. Let's do it.
A small crowd of about 30 people gathered around to watch the spectacle, including their 3-year-old daughter. Both cameras were set to record. Mona Lisa, who was pregnant at the time, aimed her weapon at Pedro, then pulled the trigger. Immediately, the crowd went silent and Pedro was left with a gaping hole in his chest. Realizing the severity of the situation, Mona Lisa called an ambulance, but it was too late. Pedro was pronounced dead at the scene and Mona Lisa was charged with second-degree manslaughter and served 3 months in jail, followed by 3 months in probation. There are a lot of reasons why this case is stupid, but I'm more interested in the fact that he bought the gun and I'm pretty sure the dealer told him how powerful the gun was. How did he not know that this gun was the most powerful handgun in the world? Apparently he used the book to test the stunt beforehand and it worked. I don't know what kind of book he was using, if it was made of vibranium, titanium, or something powerful, because the book he used in the stunt clearly didn't stop the bullet. This was completely avoidable, just like what happened to Timothy Wilks, a 20-year-old prankster who pulled his last prank. Timothy Wilks was an aspiring YouTuber with hopes of going viral through any means necessary. Wilks was inspired by viral pranks of the early 2010s, but he failed to recognize that these were mostly staged videos, using actors to farm reactions. Whether or not he knew, he wanted to take a more authentic approach when creating content. He decided to pull a robbery prank on unsuspecting people walking out of a trampoline park. It was around 9 p.m, cameras were rolling, traveling when he and a friend rolled up on random pedestrians wielding butcher knives. He demanded their money. In response, a 23-year-old man shot Wilks in self-defense, leaving him dead at the scene. This was a very tragic story because Wilks had no intentions of causing harm, and the guy who defended himself didn't know it was a prank. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, and if you want me to make more content like this, leave a comment on what you thought about these stories. Some of them were pretty depressing because these were mostly avoidable deaths, but I want to hear your opinions.